Are we live? Yay! All right. Hi, Megan. How
Hi.
are you?
Good.
How's the office? It's quiet and empty.
It is. I'm
Yeah.
adjusting just a tiny bit over here.
Okay.
Move to the left. There we go.
Yes. You look like you've been to Hawaii.
I wish.
Well, we're gonna pretend today because we are going to make the gorgeous hibiscus flower, and Megan's going to show us how to make it. So it looks like we have people joining us already. This is really exciting. I think we were looking at what, 45 people? 48 people already. So this is a great time to be making paper flowers. And I don't know if some of you saw our feeds yesterday, but it was actually National Paper Flower Day. And I just want to clarify that I did not set that day. Somebody else did. And it made me laugh because it was also my birthday. So I'm like, yay, okay, I'm gonna assume everyone will think I did that, but I didn't. So anyhow, so this is a perfect day to be making paper flowers because I think it's actually National Paper Flower Year, in my opinion. It's a great time to be home and crafting and creating some beautiful things in your world. And like we mentioned last month, Megan and I were actually supposed to be in Hawaii right now with an event, a craft event. And of course, it got canceled. So this time last year, we were there, or I was there. She wasn't there with me, but she's going to go this year. And so we thought, why not? Let's just bring paradise home. So here we are.
Tropical flower.
I'm excited to learn this. Megan has knocked herself out on, well, is that how I say it? She has done
I think that's what you meant.
She's done such a good job. So I want to learn how to make this.
Yeah. Is that the template?
Yep. This is the template.
Yeah, let's talk about all the materials we're going to use first. Okay. So color-wise, can we get my hands in there? Can you guys see my hands?
There we go.
Can we get more of my hand? There we go. So we are going to be using, today for the flower we're going to be, can't talk, using these 5 colors. So we're going to use chiffon, coral, camellia, ruby, or you can use cranberry. They're both very similar in color, and then juniper. So yeah, this is what we're using today. And we had also made some of the flowers using blush and chiffon and just really mixing in all these colors and using them in different ways. We're going to have our markers, scissors, curling tool, and then some wire.
And the tape. Don't forget the tape.
Oh yeah, our floral tape.
Yeah, and the hot glue gun. You're going to show us a super awesome trick using the hot glue gun today. Yeah. I plugged mine in. I'm ready.
Nice. And then we have our template here. Make sure you're following your grain lines as indicated on the template. I also have some marks here. There's a little dashed line across, and that's where we're going to be folding the crepe paper. So let's get started. First, we're going to start making our stamen. And so I'm going to show you the really cool technique that we've used before using our hot glue gun. I'm going to move some of this out of the way. All right. So we're going to grab our wire. And what I did, so you're going to need, for our white floral wire, you're going to need 10 pieces of cut floral wire. So I actually just grabbed 5 pieces of floral wire and just cut them in half using my scissors.
Okay, I have mine here.
Yeah. And so you're going to use 5 of them for our stamen and the other 5 for our petals.
Oh, okay. All right. That makes sense.
And then for our stamen, we're going to go ahead and grab our hot glue. And we're going to make just little beads of hot glue on the tip of our wire. Let me make sure you can see where my hands are. There we go. All right. And you're just going to do like a little bead, not even pea size, just very small You can see that. And I reuse my piece of foam just to stick my wire into while it's drying. And so we're gonna make 5 of these. And so I already have
Mine are done.
Yeah, that I've made here. I pre-made these for her. These dry super fast, so it's all right. There we go. And then we're gonna go ahead and while these are drying or setting, we're gonna set them aside. And we're gonna go ahead and cut out all of our petals.
Okay.
So we have all of our petal pieces here that we've already cut out. And we are both making using the coral colored crepe paper to make our flowers today.
And just really pay attention, you guys, on the grain line. You will not be cutting it straight along the long. You'll be cutting it at an angle. And this is super important when you have your final petal. So
yeah. And so we're going to take some of the lengths of wire we just cut, and we're going to use Leah's trick where you just measure the length you need to your petal and put your finger there and go ahead and stick your wire into your glue. We're going to go ahead and glue these petals together. And you should have 5 petals for this flower.
something I love about the crepe paper hibiscus, what you've created here, Megan, looks so real. And if any of you have had real hibiscus in your life, if you've been able to have one when you go to Hawaii or someone gifted you a hibiscus, you know, or even if you have a bush, they die really quickly. Even on the bush, they only last like a day and they're gone. So this is sustainability at its finest. You can use this over and over. And I have to say, too, that I would definitely use the extra fine crepe paper for this hibiscus because the petals of a hibiscus are so delicate and light. The heavy crepe paper, I think, would just be too textured for it. So the extra fine is really, really a perfect.
Yeah, we do have a heavy hibiscus.
I like this one better.
For hibiscus, I'd say it's a super simple beginner.
Yeah.
Flower.
I agree. I think this is definitely the advanced hibiscus, but it's not that hard to make. It just has a few more steps.
Quick question.
Yes.
I'm going to put it up on the screen, but Sharon couldn't do the small hot glue bead and would like to know.
Oh.
Yeah, the massive blobs of hot glue, what to do about that.
Yeah, that is a problem. Sometimes what I find sometimes is that if I leave my hot glue gun on overnight, it just kind of goes crazy and it becomes so hot. So that is something. I think what I would do if I were you, and Megan, you tell me what you think. I would go ahead and make a little puddle on my piece of paper or something, and then I would just dip it because you can get a nice little ball of hot glue. You might need to spin it a bit to make sure that it doesn't drip off, but that seemed to work. So that would be my tip on it. I love seeing people's faces on the comments. That's so awesome.
Cool. You could also use, if you have any like modeling clay at home, I'm trying to think what else we've used.
But I think this works. You know, if your hot glue is so hot that it just explodes, even if you give it just a second. I mean, this has been sitting here for a minute. And the only thing when it cools that you do get your little tiny threads.
Yeah.
But I got some really nice beads. Done. So
we're also covering them with crepe paper, so it's not absolutely perfect. That's okay.
Yes. Okay.
We're gonna go ahead and color our petals next. I'm using a Blick Studio marker in the color Brick Red. I gave Leah a Copic marker, I believe. I don't remember what color I gave you. I think it's garnet.
I'll tell you what it is. This is the Copic Sketch
Mm-hmm.
And the color is, oh, here it is. It's garnet.
Yep.
So
yeah. And I was today, I was looking for a matching marker for you. And I was like, we really need to do like a little color chart.
I think that would be a great idea.
So that they're a little more interchangeable.
Right. So all the different, that would mean we would have to get a set of every single brand of markers.
Darn.
I know, darn.
All right, so we're gonna go ahead and color. We're gonna start at the base of our petal.
How important is it that your glue is dry before you do this?
You shouldn't be using very much glue, so it really shouldn't matter.
It shouldn't matter. Okay.
Yeah, if you use a lot of glue and it's a little gummy, definitely let it dry first.
Okay.
But if
because you don't want to tear your paper.
Yeah, just be gentle. Use the brush side of the marker. We're gonna go ahead and color up the wire first, about a quarter of the way up from the base.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna kind of do almost an arrow shape from the bottom and color that in, and I'll show you what I've done once I've finished coloring here. You might want to get a piece of scrap paper to throw underneath. So
I have my rubber mat today.
Oh, nice.
My silicone mat. It feels good.
So this is the shape I have. Whoop, there we go. Colored on.
Okay.
And then I go ahead and take a blender marker. And I did have someone ask a question if they don't have a blender marker, what they could use instead. And I suggested if you have for this color, I would say a really, really light pink marker instead. Like if you have like here I have this is like shell colored, and it's almost like it hardly has any color to it. And that would also work to blend as well.
Yeah, it's interesting because I'm not seeing a lot of blend with my blender.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe the light color would work better.
Yeah, you could. I suggest like holding the blender down on the edge of the color you've just, so that
gotcha.
More of the ink kind of spills out onto the paper, and you'll start seeing it bleed.
I can see that now. Okay.
Yeah.
I think there was a question. Was there a question? Yeah.
A quick question. So Carol was asking, are you putting the wire right to the end of the petal or just near the top?
Don't put it quite all the way to the tip. I've left about a quarter of an inch of crepe paper petal without wire.
That makes it, if you're needing to trim also, that helps, and it also gives you space to stretch. That's the word I wanted.
And make sure once you've colored one side of the petal that you just go back and color over the wire on the back side, because since that crepe paper is layered, you're gonna have a bit that isn't colored.
Yeah, this is so beautiful.
It kind of gives it a little watercolor effect. That's why I love the alcohol-based markers, because they bleed out.
If you don't have alcohol-based markers, go ahead and try water-based markers.
Mm-hmm.
You could also, use a pastel if you have a really nice tight tip.
If you're using water-based markers, I actually read a good tip today that you, instead of using a blender marker, you can actually just use a very small paintbrush with a little bit of water on it.
Okay.
And that will help blend it out. So you could just use Crayola markers if that's what you have, and just use a little bit of water to get a nice bleed.
Yeah, I would test it. Definitely test it on a piece of scrap first, just because you don't want to ruin your petal. Yep. But that's such a great idea.
Another question.
Yes.
So Vicky's asking, how big are the flowers when done?
Okay, let's measure. I have my little handy ruler here. Okay, so since the petals are bent out, they're not straight out, we're looking at about almost 6 inches, or I'm not very good at meters and centimeters. Looks like it's, Anna, tell me if I'm right. Is it 14 meters or centimeters for 6 inches? Okay. And then from the base to the tip, because the tip is really quite long, we're looking at, about 4 inches from the base to the tip. So 4 by 6.
Also, another question, can alcohol inks be used for the coloring parts? Linda is asking.
Alcohol inks. I think you can, yes. So rather than alcohol markers, alcohol inks, absolutely. You would use it the same way as a marker with a paintbrush.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's a good question. Thank you.
Yeah, there's a lot of different techniques you can use for adding detail.
Yeah, I love the thing about the alcohol inks, I'd just say be really careful not to get too much ink on the paper because, again, just like water, it will make it kind of disintegrate the paper. But, yeah. This is fun. Just don't inhale too much. This is a good time to wear your mask.
All this smelly.
The alcohol inks. This is almost like adult coloring.
Yeah. It's relaxing. That's for sure.
It is.
All right. So for these petals, sorry.
Oh no, I was just gonna say I don't think mine look quite like yours, but that's really, okay. It's all good.
Flower is different. So we're gonna go, once you're done coloring, we're gonna go ahead and shape the petals.
Can you let Megan know? Her hands are frozen for now. I think we're fixing that off.
My hands are frozen.
Okay, we got it back.
Uh-oh. There we go.
You have a lot of cameras going.
We're gonna go ahead and shape our petals once you guys are done coloring. And what you're gonna do, you're gonna start by just bending the petal out one way slightly, just like this. And then you're gonna face that bend towards you, and you're gonna go ahead and just very lightly at the base of your petal, cup the petal. Be very gentle with this step. You don't want to cup it too much because you don't really want to get too many wrinkles in it. So it's just a very light cup. And then we're going to go ahead and ruffle the edges. To do that, you're just going to pull one way. You're going to pinch them like this. And you're just going to pull to opposite directions with your fingers, just all the way along the edge of the petal. And then you have a nice ruffled edge.
And this would be it also if you noted that your tips weren't quite even, you can, before you ruffle it, you can just trim that off with some scissors, little tiny scissors. So,
yep. And we also, I shot a photo tutorial for this flower as well. So if you're a little bit lost after watching this, you can always reference the photo tutorial for a little bit more detail. That. All right.
I like your nails today, Megan.
You're
going to have to teach me how to paint my own nails.
They're the nice thing about this is it's not close enough up that you can't tell that they're not perfect.
Oh, okay. I'm really missing getting a pedicure and a manicure. Well, I know. First world problem here. Okay. Petals are done.
Perfect. I'm missing a little bit of blue at the tip of my petal. All right. Next, we're going to move on to our stamen. We're going to come back to them. So go ahead and grab your glue tipped stamen. And we're going to grab the little circles. I'm trying to remember what color they're called.
I think it was either
ruby or cranberry.
Yep.
All right. We're going to take, these things are teeny tiny. If you don't have a Cricut or cutting machine that can cut crepe paper, if you have a really nice hole punch, you could maybe punch these with a hole punch. I say maybe because I think it totally depends how sharp your hole punch is, if it'll work or not.
And truthfully, if it's not perfectly round, it does not matter.
It really doesn't matter. This could be a square. Like, we're going to put just a little bit of the white glue on it and go ahead and cover your glue dot with it. And then
I love how these little tiny tips match the marker that we used.
Yeah.
It pulls the color. Mm-hmm.
All right. And then so when you see this tip and you're going to go ahead and push any crepe paper that's coming down onto the wire back up into the ball.
Oh, okay.
Because we don't want it on
the wire.
And so the glue is going to make the crepe paper kind of gummy, which works to our advantage in this because you can almost just form it.
Okay.
Around there.
Like a little paper clay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then once you've added that, you're going to go back and take your marker and you're going to color maybe half an inch down. You're going to color your white wire or your green wire.
So I think if you don't have a cutting machine to cut the circles, it doesn't matter that they're not perfectly circle. You just want to make sure it's the same size, that you have about the same amount of crepe paper.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Because that will determine the size of your final ball.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
And I'm just kind of rolling it between my fingers.
Mm-hmm. And this is a technique. I mean, you could use, like you said, modeling clay and paint these if you wanted to. That's another option.
You could, if you don't want to cut out this crepe paper, you could paint the tips instead.
Yeah, you could do that.
This color, because especially since this is the only piece we're using this color for.
Yes, if you don't have this color.
And just go ahead and paint them.
I do like the way that every single part and piece in this flower is crepe paper. I do love that. Mm-hmm. It's purist, right?
It is. Oh, look, I was a little bit too aggressive with mine and just pulled my ball off.
Just ripped a hole in it. Yeah.
That's right.
Any questions?
You know, a lot of people have been asking questions, but other followers and people watching have been answering. So they're doing a very good job of answering their own questions.
Wonderful. Are there any that we should call out because they're brilliant questions?
Well, there's some techniques shown. Let's see. Well, Rebecca had just asked if alcohol, ink pen, and color the tips instead, but it seems like Megan just answered that on accident.
I don't know if alcohol ink would color the tips. Here, let me try.
Yeah.
Or, well, this isn't a marker, but I don't know if it would color because it's a plastic. Well, yeah, it does. It still looks a little translucent, which is kind of cool. You might want to let that dry and see if it rubs off, but that looks pretty interesting. It adds a glow to it, which is also really interesting. So many options.
Mm-hmm. All right.
I'm going to let that dry and see if it rubs off.
Yeah, see how it goes. I think I might have tried actually coloring them before covering them with crepe paper. And didn't love how it turned out, but
okay.
I think what you said earlier, I really liked that every piece is crepe paper.
Yeah. But at the same time, you know, use what you have at home and what's accessible.
I feel like
this is one thing I noticed though when I was seeing if this would rub off is my glue dot did fall off.
Yeah, one of my glue dots just fell off, and so
if you crepe paper over it, it helps hold it to the stem. Yeah. Sorry, we're talking at the same time.
Well, here I just cut a little square piece of crepe paper because I had to remake one, so it does not need to be a circle. All right. We're going to go ahead and take some floral tape now. We're going to attach all these guys together.
Okay, what did you say? How much ink do I put on the stems?
About 1/4 of an inch down. It's really just to cover it, just in case it shows, because we don't want white or green popping out right there.
Yeah. Another reason why we love our paper covered wires.
Yes, love being able to color them. All right, we're gonna go ahead and bunch these together. So they're like, oh, where are my hands? Like this. Ooh. There we go. And then I'd say 1/8 of an inch maybe below these. Go ahead and start your floral tape. You do want a little bit of that colored stem showing.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And we're just gonna do floral tape most of the way down, let's say.
So we're building out our stem with all of these wires.
All right, and we're gonna go ahead and set this aside.
Okay.
Actually, wait, sorry, come back to it. Bring it back. Go ahead. So we have 2 pieces. We have 3 pieces that are similar. Over here, we have let me read it off the template. They're all labeled. I have the pistol wrap, and so that's the one you're gonna take. We cut it in camellia. And you just want the wrap to be the same color as what your stamen pieces are going to be that are going to stick out. So we're going to go ahead and stretch this piece. And we're going to cover our floral tape with it, starting at the very top. So I'm going to apply a little bit of glue. And I'm going to wrap it around once, and then I'm going to go ahead and apply glue down the stem, down the stamen. Pistol. I was having to look up the flower anatomy of this to label all the pieces. So many bits.
So I noticed that on the other colors, it's a different color. So it really depends on what this is, right?
Yep. Go ahead and mix and match. The colors. I think I did even some of the little beads, different colors as well on the other flowers. I didn't use this color for every flower. All right, once you've wrapped that, you can go ahead and set it aside.
Okay.
We're going to go ahead and take our stamen A piece, which is going to be the thicker strip of crepe. And then we're going to take our stamen B piece, which is always going to be in chiffon or like a yellow color, because this is what kind of looks like the pollen. And I'm going to apply just a thin bit of glue to the one long edge of stamen A. I'm going to go ahead and glue what will be the pollen to it, and I'll show you the placement here after I have it done. I'll flip it over, and so I've glued it so that I'd say like, what is that, 1/8 of an inch is popping up, not even, just like peeking out.
Okay.
From behind.
So it's not a half and half. Yeah.
No, not at all. So it's just a little bit is peeking out. Think of it as pollen on the tip. So only as much pollen as you want showing. All right. And so we're going to go ahead and flip this back over. And I'm actually going to take my curling tool and I'm going to use it to score where I want to fold. And so I've marked a score line on your pattern. It's just right in the middle. And I'm just going to push down. And this is just going to help fold it a little.
So it looks like it's about in half.
Yeah, you're going to fold it exactly in half.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that score line will just help you get that fold started. We're going to go ahead and fold the crepe. I tried scoring it on the Cricut with the scoring tool and it did not work.
No, it would stretch it, wouldn't it?
But they do have the scoring tool that rolls for the
Yes.
Cricut Maker.
We do have some of those.
Which would work. I just did not have one on hand.
Yeah. I think we have a couple sets.
Yeah, I'll have to look for it while I'm in the office today. Once you've folded that, kind of unfold it, and we're going to go ahead and apply a very small amount of glue just to hold it down. Here.
Are you putting the glue on the white?
I'm putting it on the white and the pink.
Or the yellow? Okay.
Or yeah, the yellow and the pink. Here, I'll show you. So this is how I've applied glue.
Okay.
Very lightly, just kind of dot it, and then go ahead and glue that down. And
not too much, or we'll make it soggy like I just did.
Yes, not too much, because we actually want to be able to fringe this after. And I do recommend fringing before the glue fully dries, just because we are going to roll the fringes, and it's going to roll a lot easier if your glue is still a little bit tacky.
Okay.
So. If you're having a hard time fringing though while your glue is wet, go ahead and let it dry more. It's not going to make a huge difference. All right. So we're going to go ahead and take our detail scissors. I'm going to cut off, there's a little bit of the yellow poking out on the end. So I'm going to go ahead and trim the ends so they're even. And then we are going to fringe. And you're going to fringe, I'd say, 3/4 of the way down. Fringe as small as you can, is what I would say, without them being like little slivers. But
right, so we're gonna roll them next.
Yeah, we are gonna roll them a bit.
Well, since we're cutting for a while, I will put up.
Yes.
Liz said happy birthday, Leah.
Oh,
and
thank
I thought I'd show
you. Thank
that.
you, Liz. Thank you. I like to celebrate for at least a week, if not.
Birthday week, yeah.
No, it's been such a beautiful birthday. I was telling the team this morning that I feel like this, stay at home and distancing has really made me appreciate just, all the messages and everyone reaching out. Okay, I got my fringe. So hopefully you guys can feel that too.
Now we're gonna go ahead and you have your fringe. It's fun. And I'm just gonna take my pointer finger and my thumb and I'm gonna kind of roll very gently, just kind of move back and forth to roll.
Oh, that works really well.
Yeah. So we're not gonna sit and roll each individual one. Just kind of pinch it between your thumb and your pointer and just gently move back and forth.
Yeah, that works really well. Now I can see that I could have fringed him a little bit smaller. Yeah.
Yeah.
Next time.
Next time. Next flower. Yeah, making great. My first one of these was not perfect. I adjusted a little bit as I went along.
Yeah. Okay.
There we go. Once we have that done, we're going to go ahead and take our, what is this again? Our pistil. Your pistil again. And we're going to go ahead and take our stamen that we've just fringed and we're going to wrap it around, gluing it. And so I'm going to apply glue to my stamen piece here. And I'm going to start gluing right. I want my fringe, where my fringe stops, to meet where the pistil wrap begins. That makes sense.
So the way I'm seeing it is that the tip of the fringe is almost the same length as where my little pistils, right? So are they lining up?
Then mine are a little higher.
Okay.
It doesn't matter how far they come up, really. You're going to bend them out.
I see what you're saying. Okay, so I just slid mine up so that the fringe actually overlaps the pistil, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
That's okay. And then we're wrapping it down.
We're wrapping it down, but just slightly. So you only want, if you want to measure there how long the stamen actually is, and then I can let them know.
I will do that. So the amount of fringe is actually about 5/8, not 6/8. So it's about 5/8, or maybe 3/4. So yeah, it's a slight.
Just working down slightly.
And it makes a really nice thick fringe too. What is this called? What is this? Is this the stamen? Is that
The
called
fringe
the
part is called is the stamen, and then what we're wrapping it around is the pistil.
Okay, so that's because that's where the pollen is.
Mm-hmm.
The pollen is on the stamen.
Yeah. Once you've wrapped yours all the way, so right now they're all poking up and we want them to come down. You can use your fingers, or I was actually using my detail scissors and just kind of poking them in there and bringing them down.
Okay.
I thought it made it a little neater. You have a little bit more control than you do with your fingers, just to bring them straight out. Could use just like a pencil or a chopstick.
The detail scissors work great.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're just gonna
see how easy that is. This looks so complicated and detailed. When I was sitting there looking at it, and I'm like, how did Megan do this? But so doable.
Yes, it is not it looks like a very advanced flower, and it's really not. Yep. And we have that.
Okay.
Yeah, now we can go ahead and add our petals on. And so I actually have one more petal I need to shape. Just sitting to the side.
Oh.
Hmm?
I'm waiting for you.
Okay. So we're gonna go ahead and take floral tape to attach these guys. And we are going.
What length of what Megan is doing?
Oh, you want this?
Sure. What length of what Megan is doing? What does that mean? Which I think, I don't know if we're on the right step. Is that what that question was? So go ahead and type in a clarification on what part of the flower you're asking, and I can measure it for you. Yep.
I think I'm kind of assuming that she's asking how long maybe.
Oh, right. That. Okay.
Pistil is, or how far down to do it. And I'm going to say about 4 inches.
4 inches. Yep.
I'm guessing.
So 4 inches from the tip.
From the tip to where you're going to attach. And so I'm going to start with one petal. And I'm going to go ahead and attach that and I'm only going to wrap the floral tape around that twice. Don't go crazy. Only wrap it around once if you can. We don't want it to get too bulky. And then as we're adding petals, so I'm going to go ahead and add a petal to the right of my current one, and I'm going to lay it on top of the one I just attached. And then I'm going to go ahead and attach that petal by wrapping my floral tape around only once. And then I'm going to do the same with the next petal. I'm going to overlap it. And we're going to kind of adjust our petals as we're adding. So the first petal I added, I just pulled down a little bit to give room for more. I'm going to attach. I want it to be kind of like a windmill.
Also, Vicky said the fringes. How far down the fringes?
Okay, so I think we actually answered that question. So the fringe, I'll just say it one more time. It's about from the tip of the stamen to the end of the fringe is about 1 1/4 inches. So from here to here is about 1 1/4 inches. Yeah, I know. It's always good to know these little details, especially if you don't have the benefit of having them in front of you.
Right with you. Yeah. All right. So I'm on I just attached my fourth petal here. You can see it's almost like stair steps or a windmill. And when I go to attach my last one, I'm going to attach it. There's going to be a gap. When I go to attach my last one, we're going to adjust. And so keep that last one above in the same pattern you've been doing. And then go ahead and wrap your wires with the floral tape, but don't wrap all the way down yet. Leave some wire. And now we're just going to adjust our petals. And so you want it to be a windmill. So that last petal should go under your first petal, but above the petal next to it. If that makes sense. I don't know how to.
Yeah, no, that's a beautiful way to say it. I love windmill. I always say rotation, but that rotation. I think windmill is a bit more
visual,
accurate. Yeah, because they need to go in so that top, bottom, top, bottom, top, bottom, all the way around.
Yeah, and they're almost tilted a little bit. They're not facing straight up and down.
Yeah. Okay.
Flat.
Which makes it even easier to visualize.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, and I'm just going around adjusting until they're all even. And then with your pistil, I actually made it a little, not straight, give it a little
curve it.
Curve it a little. Give it a little S bend in there.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And once you have your flower, we're going to go ahead and add our long stem to it. So we should have a one. Oh, I don't have one with me. I'll actually, Matthew, would you like to grab me a thick wire from behind you? I gave Leah one, but I didn't grab it for myself. Either one, doesn't matter. Oh wait, no, the thicker one. Yeah, that one. Sitting over here. There we go. So we're gonna take our thick stem wire, and there's a thin end and a thick end, and we're gonna take the thin end of it, and you're gonna kind of place it in the middle of all those wires coming down. If you want to trim some of these wires before you do this, you can, but I don't really bother. I kind of shove it up into the floral tape that you've got down, and then I just take some floral tape and go ahead and cover that. Then you have a nice long stem. You can cut it if it's too long.
It's pretty long.
Or we just like to like bend them sometimes, especially if you're just putting it in a vase where you're not going to see the stem.
Mm-hmm.
But you still have that stem if you want it later. All right, we're going to go ahead and take our, what are these called? Our sepals.
You know what I'm noticing now, Megan, is
Yeah.
that I probably could have brought my ink out further.
Up a little higher.
Yeah, and you could always go back and do that. You can go in with your marker. And
go in and add some more. Definitely. All right, we're gonna go ahead and add our sepal. You could use hot glue to add these, or white glue.
Hot glue, yay!
Whatever you prefer. I'm gonna use white glue.
Brittany, you had something to say?
Oh yeah, there's just a quick question.
Yeah.
They're also little like pinwheels, yeah?
Yeah, pinwheel. Oh, hello. Pinwheels. Thank you.
Pinwheels. Yes.
Thank you, Emily. I like the picture of you with the kite too. Oh my goodness, there's so many things to remember. Pinwheels, I'm going to remember that one.
Pinwheels. Okay, so when we're attaching the sepals, I'm just placing them right under each petal. So there's 5 sepals, 5 petals.
Okay, it is not. I have to say this out loud. So we are in the month of May, which is a 5. We're doing a flower with 5, 5, and 5. Just saying. I like numbers. I like them.
What is? Should I ask what 5 means?
I don't know that.
You don't know? Okay.
I'll let you know after I Google. Hey, Google. Somebody might know, actually. Someone could tell us.
There is another question.
Okay.
I'll pop up here. Is there a right and wrong size of floral tape?
No, there is not. If you get good floral tape, it's the same. It's basically this creped paper with wax on both sides, and there are different grades. You got to pick what you like, what works best for you. So we sell it. We do have our own brand. Some people think it's too sticky. I really like it. We usually cover it anyway, but it holds. I guess I'm just really used to our floral tape.
It is a little sticky. You have to wash your hands after you use it, but yeah, it holds really well.
I'm going to pop this up here just really quick. That's good luck, 555.
Well, there we have it. Thank you, Liz. I'm just going to take that and run. Good luck.
Next, let's see. We're going to take our crepe paper and go ahead and cover our stem with it.
Okay.
I'm just going to cut a small amount, though. I don't want to cut the end off of it. Right.
I love hearing everybody's questions. This is what's so great about doing these lives, is having people in real time ask the questions, so we can all learn. And
Yeah.
Yeah. So do not be shy with your questions. I forgot to say that. I forgot to announce ahead of time. If you can put a cue before your question, for those of you who are new, that really helps, the people reading off the questions know and see them, because sometimes the feed goes fast. Oh, you know what else we forgot to do? Man,
I just
my mind is all kinds of places.
forgot
we forgot to do the giveaway.
Yeah.
All right. Let's make something up here. All right, we're going to do a giveaway. All right, we're going to do a giveaway. I like this method of we send you all the paper needed for next month's flower, which I'll announce what we're making at the end of this class. So let's see, what should we ask them? Let's have you write in don't make a cue because that would be a question, but just write your answer in. What are you planning? What's your next craft project going to be? There we go. What's your next craft project going to be? And at the end of our recording, we'll pick a winner and we'll send you all the materials for next month's member make.
Should we have them put something at the beginning of, like, maybe a
W?
Answer, or
oh, W? W for win?
Yeah.
Okay.
For win.
Yeah, throw in a W. You can answer as many times as you want to.
All right. Once you wrap the stem, we're going to go ahead and make our leaves real quick.
Okay.
For these leaves, I wrote on the materials that you need the green wire. If you only have white, you can use that too. You're not going to see the wire, and this crepe paper is dark enough that it doesn't make a huge difference. And we're just going to use the same method as we did for the petals.
There's a quick question. Debbie's asking, is it standard to wrap the large stem wire with crepe paper?
It's not standard. You don't have to. You can use your floral tape. I just grabbed a floral tape this morning. If I wasn't planning on wrapping, I would have picked one that matched my leaves a little bit better. We have more of this, so I'm using this. You don't have to. I think what the beauty that we've started doing it more and more, and I feel like the beauty of wrapping your stems and using the glue to do that. So it's almost like it's paper mache onto the stem in a way.
Yeah, and a lot of times I like covering them with Mod Podge because it preserves your stem. Or it really holds everything together. Yeah.
So the reason why we like to do it is it just completes the flower so that every single bit is made with the crepe paper and there's no parts and pieces that don't, flow with it. So, but it's up to you.
For your leaf, once you've added a wire, you're going to go ahead and shape it. And we're just going to bend it just like we did the petals and just lightly cup each side to give it some shape. You can use a curling tool if you like to curl the edges of the leaves.
I'm not doing it because I don't have the wire. You forgot to give me wire, but that's okay.
I don't think I gave you green wire, but I said you could use white.
That's true. Okay.
Wire for this.
We're on it.
You're going to see the stem, or you aren't going to see the wire of this leaf at all once you attach it.
Okay.
And so once you've done your leaf, you can go ahead and take some floral tape and you can attach it to your stem. And I think I put 2 or 3 leaves on each flower. Personal preference. After I cover this with the floral tape, since I did wrap this with crepe, I'm going to go back and add some crepe to cover that floral tape so that it matches.
I think we should address the hot glue gun question.
Okay, yeah. So,
I don't know if Anna did it, but
no.
Let's just be really honest. Let's be very transparent here. Okay, Esther, I hope you did not buy that hot glue gun. You know, the hot glue gun that has our name on it, we did not test it because that was not part of our contract that we were given option to test the hot glue gun. And so it was, we approved it without testing, unfortunately, thinking that, I don't know. So it's out on the market, but we don't sell it because we don't like it. So if you have one, my apologies for buying one. We've never, ever promoted that hot glue gun. We really do like the Sherbonder, and we do sell both the hot and the medium Sherbonder on our site. So in our shop. So there, at this point in time, I don't know that there's any good hot glue guns that are battery operated, because there's something about they don't last for very long. They only last for about an hour, and the temperature regulation with not regulation, that's not the right word, the temperature consistency does not stay with the battery operated. So that's why we just kind of threw up our hands and said, oops, sorry, we're not going to promote it, and this is the hot glue gun we like. So they're transparency. You know, sometimes you make mistakes, and that one was a mistake of ours. So there you have it. What do you got, Megan?
I have a finished flower.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Okay, here's my finished flower. Well, oh wait, this is mine.
And I always like to bend the stems a little bit to make them look more real.
Yes. How beautiful. All right, I'm going to give everybody a oh yeah. I think everyone's agreeing about the battery operated. Okay, so I'm going to give everybody a last chance to throw in your answers. So a big W for win, and throw in your answer on what you're going to create next. And then I think Anna's going to pick a winner just randomly, who are going to ship some of that crepe paper to. But in the meantime, Megan, let's talk about what we will be making for June.
Yeah, we have had a lot of requests for this flower. And so we've decided to make a gladiolus in white.
In white.
Yes.
So yes, it's interesting. Let's see. I think the first day of summer is the 22nd of June.
Mm-hmm.
So our member make will be right around there, probably the week before, maybe a few days earlier. So I think it's a great flower to bring summer into. It reminds me of my grandma. Yes, I have to say that. Let's bring gladiolus back in style. No, but they're really beautiful. There's a lot to them.
Yes, there's a lot of flowers on each stalk, so we'll probably only make one stalk for the member make, because there are about 10 flowers
Right.
on stalk, give or take. So yeah, it'll be a fun flower.
So on June 1, we'll have that ready for you. We'll have the images of the flower. You'll have the template tutorial, not the tutorial. You'll have the template. You'll have the materials list. So if you want to do a make along with us in June, I don't know, what's the date on our June member make? Can you ask Anna really quick?
Yeah.
we have people in all different home offices.
It's like probably the 12th or the 19th, probably the 19th.
It's probably the 19th. Okay, so 2 days before summer.
Yep.
All right, so June 19th, let's just call it June 19th. That will be our next member make.
Cool.
And we'll be doing the gladiola. So what do we have for winners?
It is Debbie Cook. I'm going to put up what she wrote.
Oh, yes. Fall arrangements. I love how Debbie is like, she's ahead, man. She's right on it. I bet she has all of her summer flowers done. Not just flowers, but wheat stalks and leaves. I love that.
Yeah,
that's
we have
really
paper
beautiful idea.
stalks that we made that are really beautiful.
We do. We don't have crepe paper. We did them in frosted paper. Or did you do it in crepe?
They have crepe. It's crepe and frosted paper. Yeah,
Okay.
the tips are like crepe paper fringes coming out of the tops.
Right. Those are really beautiful. I use those in the arrangement that I did for Thanksgiving. I added the wheat stalks in there. So that's really beautiful. All right. We're going to ship you. We're going to connect with you and make sure we have your address, and we will ship to you all of the materials needed for these gladiolas. So anything else? Am I forgetting something? I seem to be really forgetful today. Okay. Anything else? Anyone? Yes. All right, you guys. Thank you for joining us today. It's always such a delight. I love doing these monthly member makes, and I don't know if you noticed that I actually did 2 live videos this month as well. I think I do have another one coming up next Wednesday. I'm going to be doing a live that's a little bit more kid focused. However, I think that it's the type of craft that, you know, anyone would enjoy, including me. I'm going back to my childhood here. So keep your eyes open. We'll announce what time, and well, it's going to be Wednesday at noon when we do that live, and you can come and craft along. So we'll see you maybe next Wednesday, and if not, we'll definitely see you on the 19th of June. Okay?
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, Megan. Nice to see you.